Who's that?
Awesome.
Or like classifying the sun as a star, right? You see all those
Yo,
stars. Oh, sorry.
Somebody said something. They said hello to both of us, but I don't know who it was.
Yeah, I said hi, Lion.
Oh, Alyson. I
Yes.
couldn't recognize your voice because it was very faint. Now I do. What's up?
Yeah, sorry about that because I had to change my settings because my fan in my room is like really loud because my air conditioning went out and I have to use this portable thing. So it's like I had to change some things, but hi.
So you're only fans, huh? No air conditioning.
Adams.
You know, on the globe model, the sun is basically a nuclear bomb that's going off for the last 1 million years because it has so much fuel.
You must be trolling us.
Mm-hmm.
He just wants to troll today.
I'm being serious, bro. That's what we believe.
No, I know. It is kind of interesting. But like, how do you come to the conclusion the sun is a star? It looks totally different. And then you got these other things that rotate around the sun. And you're like, those aren't stars. Those are rocks or gas balls. But like, maybe they are the same thing as stars, but they're just closer. Just like how you say the sun looks different than the stars because it's closer. Like, how do you make that determination? Like, where do things go from being rocks to stars? Is there like a certain height or something? It's weird.
They do have a life, right? There's
Yeah.
just a life to a star. And they look different depending on where they're in their life cycle.
They say
Yeah, the
that,
sun is one. The sun is a star, though, and it looks different than all the other stars. So maybe those things you call planets are just stars, and they're closer, so they look different than all the ones behind it. Why couldn't that be the case?
Sure. So then what's so I guess my question would be what's the usefulness of that statement? So say we decide that the Earth is a star, then what? What does that change? How does that inform us?
Like, I don't know. I don't know how the Earth is a star. I was just saying, like, how can we look up at all the things in the sky and then determine, like, this one's a rock, this one's a star?
You said
do you know?
you said to me, what if the Earth is a star? And I just said, okay, so how would we determine if that was true?
Oh,
Based
I'm sorry.
on
I didn't mean that. I didn't think I said that.
You did, but what did you mean?
I guess what I'm saying is, how do we look up at the sun and we go, it looks different, but it is a star, right? It's a star. Do you agree? The sun is a star?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when we look at Mars, we go, that's not a star. Do you agree that Mars kind of looks like a star?
Mars. Yeah, I think I've seen Mars before. Yeah.
Yeah, right? Kind of looks like a star. So what if the reason we get so much detail to Mars is just because it's a star that's close to us? Just like the sun looks different than all the other stars because it's close to us.
Get to it. So what are you trying to say? So if the Earth is a star because Mars, for example, appears as a star to us, then what? Blank. Fill in the blank.
I'm not saying the Earth is a star though. I'm not.
Oh, okay. So you did
Yeah.
say that earlier. So that's not. So what is the fucking point of what you're saying? I'm sorry.
No, I'm just trying to figure out how could someone that's just born here, right? We're both just born here with no information. Do you agree with
Right.
that at least? Oh, okay.
Yeah. No. When I was a baby, I knew everything. Yeah. No. I was born with nothing. Yeah. We all
Okay.
are.
And so in one lifetime, or maybe, you pass down the information to a child or something, in a couple lifetimes, whatever, someone decided to say, this thing that looks like a star, but it isn't a star. How can you confirm that?
Well, we
Well, I
actually
guess-
call those planets or
Well,
wandering stars.
Right. That used to be the classical
planet
identity
is
of those things. Yeah, wandering stars. Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, and I guess I would say, yeah, what are the what are the parameters to name something a planet versus a star versus something else? And then I would base it on that.
Well, the word planet comes from planet, which actually means to wander. So yeah, they were known as wandering
But
stars.
there are no parameters there, right? So if you say parameters, this means that we denote this thing as a planet. What are those parameters? That's what I'm saying. And what are the parameters for being a star? That's what I would look at first, right? To understand that.
Yeah, you know what the Earth is, right? In your model, well, no, I'm interested. In your model, the Earth is a planet. So you can look around and start giving qualities to a planet. There's people on it. There's trees on it. There's water on it. There's dirt on it. There's rocks on it. There's all this stuff on it. And then when you look out in the sky, do you see any of that stuff anywhere on any of that other stuff?
Oh my gosh. Yes.
You see moons. You do see moons like revolving around other planets.
So the whole thing is like, but to be called a planet, there obviously are certain parameters. I'll look it up for you. Okay.
Perhaps to be a planet, you have to rotate around a star.
Well, like I said, originally the word planet comes from planet, which just means to wander. So originally they were just wandering stars. They were referred to as that. They are like circular, whereas stars, like generally what they call stars in the mainstream model, have like they're kind of pulsating, like they look different. Whereas like Mars, like is a more of a defined circle when you look at it. And then really like their definition of planet comes from their heliocentric model, where they claim that those wandering stars, which planet means to wander, they then say that those are actually in our solar system and that they're balls and spheres and so on. So that's why they define that as a planet, like a physical thing they claim you could go land on.
Okay, so that I love that explanation because do you understand the sun looks like a circle, yet it's a star, and the reason it is because it's close to us. So why couldn't it be that those 7 lights that look like circles are just closer than all the others? So therefore, they're just stars that are closer. I don't get it.
So what? And I know nothing. Just to say this out loud, but what like isn't it the case that if something's farther away and it moves, that it's not gonna be as observable to the naked eye, but if they're closer, we would see movement.
Yeah. So that helps my argument, right? So we see these things moving along the backdrop of all the other stars, so they're obviously closer.
And so what you want to say is that Earth is a star, or I'm not sure.
No, I don't want to say Earth is a star.
Give me your take home point.
You're a star earther, aren't you?
I'm a star Earther.
Give me a take home point.
Yeah, okay, here you go. Here's the take home point. The sun is a star. It looks different than all the other stars because it's very close to us. My therefore from that is, therefore, the planets are stars. They look different because they're a lot closer to us. Can you refute it?
So I guess what I asked you to begin with, what are you talking about how we name things? So we name things based on if they meet certain parameters, right? So it would be like, what are the parameters of a star that differentiate them?
Twinkle, twinkle.
Are you bored?
No, they twinkle. That's like one of the parameters. That's why they made that song.
You're just trolling.
No, I'm dead serious. That's like, but I look at Mars and Venus and I see them twinkling as well.
Planets don't produce their own light, but reflect light from a star. They're less massive. Planets are generally smaller and less massive than stars. Planets orbit around a star, and planets appear to have a stable light as the light they reflect is constant. Stars, self-luminous. Stars generate their own light and heat through nuclear fusion in their core. They're massive. Stars are much more massive than planets containing significant amounts of gas, primarily hydrogen and helium. Stars are located at the center of planetary systems, and you're right, twinkle. Stars appear to twinkle due to the light from them passing through Earth's atmosphere.
Yeah. So now, remember we started off, we're both just born here with no knowledge, right? So then how can someone look up at those lights and go, oh yeah, this is actually, it's emitting its own light, and this one's not emitting its own light?
Well, that's a question. So how would you determine that?
I would go to it personally. That's how I would determine it.
You would go to the star.
Well, yeah, that's how I believe if you're going to use a scientific method of empiricism, which is like observation and tangible evidence, you would need that, right? Like if I want to know if a flashlight is on, wouldn't I like check the flashlight for batteries, check the on-off switch, do all this stuff?
If you wanted to measure a 60-foot tree, would you climb it with a fucking tape measure?
I mean,
or use a different technique?
Yeah, why not? Sure.
Okay, well, yeah. So, yeah, I don't know what to say to you at that point. Sorry. There are other
Do you
ways
think
of
that
measuring.
but do you think that's a valid way to measure that tree?
What is to the tape measure? I think you'd probably be off.
I'd be off by doing that, by taking a tape measure to the top of the tree
Mm-hmm.
and dropping a line down the tree and then being like, yo, can you measure that line for me?
Yeah, no, it could be close. It could be close.
It'd be a pretty good
yeah, I would
way
say
of
it would
doing
be
it.
close. Yeah. Does that make sense to do that though, when you don't have to climb the tree?
Yeah, I could agree with you in that. Like, then we could use our trigonometry and make a triangle there, but we can't do that with the stars. We can't use straight lines to stars because then we get like 3,959 miles is how far they all are.
I guess what I was saying, what you were talking about empiricism in terms of measurement. I said, what would like make you know that that's a star or that is something that's emitting light versus reflecting it. And you said I would have to go to it. Do you think that that's the only way to come to that conclusion? You have to climb the tree?
Well, I think you could speculate and theorize about it, but until someone actually goes to it, yeah, you wouldn't know for sure 100%, right? It would be like, this seems the most probable, right? Just like if you did your trigonometry,
So what's
it
the
would be
most
like,
probable based on what we know?
what is most probable?
Yeah.
I mean, it could be a plethora of things. Probability. When you're talking probability, that depends.
No,
Is
I'm
is
asking.
it the God world or not God world? We would have to start there.
We're talking about whether or not a star emits light or reflects it. And so you said the only way you would be comfortable with understand is going there. So I'm asking. You said there was a way to determine probabilities by not going there. What is that, and what would those probabilities look like? Do you think, like based on theory?
Yeah, they would be logical deductions. So that's why I brought
So
this
tell
up.
me what they are. Yeah. So
Yeah,
tell
well,
me what they are.
they would, yeah, you would have to logically induce it. So you would come up with a strong or weak argument. It wouldn't be necessarily the case. So the argument for the reason the planets are not things that emit light is, for example, like Venus has phases, right? We see phases on Venus. Therefore, we believe that's a shadow on the surface of that planet. Now, what I'm saying is the stars in the background possibly could have those phases, but we don't have an instrument strong enough to zoom into it like we can with those because they're much closer.
Mhm. And so how could you determine that then? What's another way? So instead of climbing the
You're
tree,
not
what
going to
would
be
you do?
able to determine it. I don't know if this
Ever?
is an uncomfortable moment for people, but yeah, to be able to
Very comfortable.
determine everything about the heavens, in my opinion, is a futile pursuit because isn't the purpose of life like loving each other?
Hard right turn. I don't know what you're. So what?
No, I'm saying we could speculate about it, but is it really something that there should be an argument over of what like
Oh,
determines
I'm
what
not
is a star?
arguing with you. I'm asking you. You said something pretty like assertively, and I thought, okay, there must be a reason why you think that, and you did kind of say there was, and then I was kind of pushing back on that, and then you said, aren't we supposed to just love each other? So I don't know. I guess that's where we're at with it.
Okay, yeah. I stated that we won't know for 100% certainty what they are.
Ever?
What do you know with 100% certainty?
My point is, do you believe that there are ways to nip away at what we understand and get closer to 100% understanding? Or the technology is such that we can actually travel there and see firsthand, right? Imagine that. But I mean, that's sort of crazy to think about. But yeah, so you're ruling out that ever being the case, right? We will never understand anything. Is that right?
No, in order to get to 100% certainty, in my opinion, you would have to have the 100% certainty to know you're close to it. Like it'd be really ridiculous to say I'm 65% certain of this without knowing what 100% looks like,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
like with your tree example, we could do the geometry, right? And we could triangulate and say, okay, this tree is 60 feet tall. But now to know that for certain 100%, wouldn't someone have to drop a line from the top of the tree?
No.
And then no?
I mean,
Then how
that's a
did they
waste
get
of
the
time.
math in the first place? How do you get Pythagorean's theorem in the first place?
It's not even as complicated as Pythagorean theorem. But I do think, yeah, that's a good way, a check, right? That's a double check you can do easily if you are a little spider monkey, right? And you can do that.
Yeah, I mean we have like bucket trucks, stuff like that. We don't have to be spider monkeys. Yeah, I mean, I guess what I'm saying is without that double checking, what is your confidence level?
It totally depends on the question and what you're talking about, what variables you're talking about.
Okay, what's your confidence level that Mars is a rock?
I have never once thought about that in my life.
Okay,
What's your
what's your
confidence level?
confidence? What's your
No. Let me
confidence
ask
of
you.
the Earth then?
What
Oh, okay.
is your confidence level that Mars is a rock?
0. I have 0 confidence in that claim.
Okay, so what the fuck are we talking about?
No, I would say all rocks are on the ground, therefore a rock can't be in the sky. Do you think that's a pretty fair argument?
No, I'm confident. No.
You have an
Don't.
observation of rocks in the sky?
So if it's a mass in the sky, yes. We see, yeah, mass in the sky.
But you
What
can't
it's made of, I think the
use that
composition.
though.
Excuse me?
You can't use that. You can't use that as an example though, because it's like using a word to define the word.
Okay, so I don't understand. So I don't like. Do you think that that planets are just made of rock? Is that and there's a
No,
debate about that?
no.
So why are
No,
you
I think
asking that
planets are
then?
stars. I think they're stars. I think they're just lights in the sky.
Yeah,
What?
up until
Okay, so what are they made of?
I don't know.
light.
How would I ever know that?
Why am I here?
You do
Yeah, this
agree
is
that the
not.
globe model claims to know exactly what all those planets are made of, what's at the core of them, what the temperature is on them, what the weather is like, all that. You do agree with that, right?
No.
You don't agree that
I
the
think
heliocentric
that
model
there's.
claims to know exactly what Mars is and what's at the center of it and what the weather is like on it. They claim they have a rover on it.
I don't think that. Yeah, I think. Oh, yeah, for sure, more than one, by the way. But yeah, I don't think it's. That's part of. That doesn't. It's not part of the heliocentric model. That's just observations that different entities have done, right? So and informed what we understand about each planet, right? So and I think there's been debate about Pluto, right? And so that's one. I think it goes. New information comes in, and it's updated what we understand. So
So then without drilling to the center of Mars, we can know for certain what is, without double checking, what is it at the center of Mars.
probably.
What tool could you use to come up with that though?
Jude, are you asking me?
No,
No,
like
you're not
what?
fucking
Like
asking me.
Well, you said probably, so that must mean you have some kind of method in your mind that would be a possibility.
Yeah, to know what something is made of without just like tearing it apart and getting down to it. Yeah, there
Yeah,
are
yeah.
probably ways to do it.
Okay, like
I
I
could
put you in
probably
a field, right? 10 miles by 10
tell you
miles, right?
what.
Sorry, Dysa.
You're good, dude. I'm probably roboting. Go ahead, man. My bad.
Yeah, you're cutting out.
Okay, so yeah, like I put you in a field.
Mhm.
Hold on one second. Okay, yeah, put you in a field 10 miles by 10 miles. Then I take a barrel, right? And I
Mhm.
put it 5 miles away from you. And I fill the barrel with something. You don't know what I filled the barrel with. The barrel
Mhm.
is not clear or see through. And we don't know what the exterior of the barrel is made of, but I painted it to look like wood, right? And now I give you a telescope, right? Now, can you tell me the contents inside that barrel
Okay, is there
with the
something that
telescope?
can be shot 5 miles or no?
With a telescope. Yeah,
So
we
say I walked 4. Okay,
but
so
you
no,
it's
no,
an
you're
hour away.
stuck. You're stuck
no.
at the distance you are. You can't get any closer to the stars. You're stuck. I'm giving you an analogy that's just like what we do with the stars here.
So there's no gun or anything that shoots 5 miles. Is that right?
No, I'm just trying to give you the analogy of we're here on
I'm
Earth looking
asking you
out
a
at this
question.
Mars with a
If you don't know
telescope.
the answer, say no. Do you know the
There's,
answer? And can you shoot something 5 miles?
I don't know. No, I don't know. Probably.
Okay, so that would be important to know for me because and based on if whatever I was thinking it was made up of, right? I hypothesized that it was made up of. I would inject it with something that I would know for sure would react a certain way if it was composed of this. And if it didn't, I would rule that out, or there's some other variable involved. That's it.
Beautiful. Yeah, I love that. Okay, that's great.
Yeah,
Because you're
yeah.
saying basically you would want to double check it, right? You can't just use your telescope and look at it. You have to use another tool and double check, right? So then
Yeah, do
what
you
was
really
done
think
for
that's
Mars?
how? Yeah,
Yeah, they look. Are you saying there's something you can do with Mars besides look at it through a telescope?
also through the rover video and data collecting. Mhm.
Okay.
There's more than, yeah, I think there's at least 3 rovers on Mars right now. They're with different
Do you
generations. They've
do
gone
you
through
know
different.
real quick? Do you happen to know what Devon Island is?
Never heard of it.
Isn't that Mars?
Yeah.
They call it Devon Island. Why?
No, like so if you look at Devon Island, like it's an island. Where is it? It's in the north somewhere.
In
It's
Canada.
is it Canada?
Isn't
Um,
isn't Devon Island where they test all the rover designs for when we're supposed to go to Mars?
Yeah, yeah. It has like super similar landscape to Mars. Yeah.
Where is
yeah.
it?
Have
That's
you ever
cool.
seen where like the landscape from Devon Island matches exactly with what they put out as from Mars, though?
That's really cool that they found that to test. Yeah, I think that's amazing.
No, it's
That's
not just testing.
brilliant.
Though. Like it's the exact same landscape. Like you can lay it over each other, and it's the exact mountain range. as what they show with Mars.
Right. So wouldn't that be ideal to test your rover?
No, it's not like just similar. It's the
Perfect.
exact same.
We found Mars on Earth, dude. We found a perfect place. It's got no gravity. It's great, bro.
So
Good place
there are
to
no
be,
two
too.
places in the universe that are the same. Come on, seriously.
By the way, it's like between Greenland and Canada, way far up north. Well, yeah, they do all these rover testings there, and it does look very similar to the landscape they claim Mars is. So some think that that's where they're filming it and just claiming it's Mars.
So what if you really were interested in testing a rover that you wanted to make sure lasted at least 30 days? You'd make the journey and last 30 days in this environment, and you found a local environment that matched it as best as possible, and that's where you tested it. Isn't that sort of what happened, or no? Like, is that plausible?
You would have to assume that people are not evil and out to deceive you and lying all the time and all that stuff first.
Well,
So
yeah,
that would,
it's
well, if
viable.
you're going to say that, then we have to talk about every single decision we make every day. Like that's you don't drive a car at that point, right? Like you can't go anywhere or do anything because people are evil. Board up your fucking windows. I don't know. I don't know how that has to do with what I was saying.
I would answer to say, yeah, it is viable that they would test it there. If Mars was real and they needed a place to test it, yes, it's viable. They would try to find a place. But a lot of the analysis show that like that it's like a lot of the images they claim are from Mars seem to match some of the pictures from Devon Island, like pretty closely. So there's that.
Perfect. That's a good spot to test something, don't you think?
I mean, that is the mainstream kind of claim. They don't claim that they're faking Mars there. They claim that they're testing stuff there, so that is what they claim, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And where is this place locally? Yes.
It's like between Greenland and Canada. Post an image in the chat.
What? That makes sense, right?
That's where it is there.
Let me see. I don't see anything. Oh wait. Sorry, just scroll down. I still don't see anything in the side chat.
It's in the live stream one text. That's like the VC side chat if you're looking there. It's in the main live stream one text.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. If you want to post it in the side chat, I'll look at it. Oh, please. This has been fun talking to you guys, though. Okay, so this is Devon Island. Island in Canada, largest uninhabited island world. It's located at Bay. Okay. It's cool that they found that, and it's also uninhabited, for some obvious reasons. My thing is, sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just thinking all the different dust storms and stuff that come to Mars that we've learned through having rovers with data collection ability and video and so to speak. So I just wonder why they wouldn't choose a place that had those, those types of storms and things to see how it would impact the ability of the rover to continue. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah, we stopped listening. Okay. Well, that's right. Yeah, so you didn't answer my question, but I also sort of bored with the whole idea. I just realized it's you, Geo, that I'm talking to. He's unavailable. Lush.
Oh, yeah, I jumped in a little
I
bit.
think
But
we should.
Dora for Ya is who we were talking to before.
Yeah, no, I was saying most recently about the Mars stuff. I didn't really. I'm like, this pattern of behavior seems familiar, and it's familiar to you, like for you. So I just noticed it was you actually. But anyways, Lush. Hi.
Yo.
Did you want to say something?
No, I was just enjoying hearing you have that little dialogue. It's interesting.
Why?
Because you don't usually come in here, and so it's interesting to hear your line of questioning.
Why did I come in here?
That's a question you usually ask when you come in here.
Sure. I do forget why we decided to jump around to different servers. I don't remember the reason. Oh, I think I was sweating because I was dancing a lot.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, I think of Geo. I think he's never danced to a song like hard.
No, are you kidding me? I'm sure he's danced a lot.
You think,
Dude, of course.
Geo? Have you ever danced to a song in your life?
Dude, I've been to like over 100 fish shows, dancing my ass off for hours. Yeah.
All
absolutely.
right. Okay.
Yeah, I've been to tons of shows and dance a lot. Yeah, I love dancing.
hmm
And shamanic dancing too, shamanic trance dancing.
Spinning.
Pirouette. Yeah. So that's cool, and that's nice to hear something that's cool about you, actually. So, but I'm gonna get out of here. Thanks for talking, Geo, and also good to see you. Our Lion's not here anymore, but yeah, I don't know anyone else here besides Lush and Angling Academy. Hi, by the way.
Say what?
Chiggies. Hey, I just wanted to say hi. I haven't seen you for a while.
Yo. What were you questioning about earlier?
I wasn't. Somebody was asking me questions, but also I'm checking out for right now. So I'm gonna go for a walk because I feel like I'm gonna fall asleep. But I just wanted to say hi, Angling, and Geo. I've talked to you before. Osco, I know Osco. Also, hi to Osco. That's it. And Lush.
Stay awesome, Alyson.
So what did you just say?
I said stay awesome, Alyson.
Oh, I thought you said. Okay, I thought you said something.
Don't ever let him take your sparkle.
Yeah, best wishes. Heart XOXO.
Hopefully you can join us again
Seriously.
soon.
Yeah, no, I will. I want to get outside for a bit. So I'll see you guys.
What was that?
And if I talked to her before, I must have been real stoned because I don't remember. Geo doesn't dance. Geo, I've been to how many fish shows to dance?
I don't know where that came from about me dancing, but yeah, I don't know. It's random. Like out of the blue, like does Geo dance? It's like sure, I've danced.
Geo's probably one of those spinners, like at the back of a Grateful Dead concert, just spinning in circles the whole time.
Not quite a spinner. I mean, that's more of a female thing generally. The females do the spinning usually, not always. I mean, some men do too, but like the whirling dervishes.
I have no idea. I just know it's a cliche.
Yeah, dancing is good when you're tripping. It goes well. It goes good together.
Completely 100% unrelated to you dancing, but Geo or does anyone else know about cold storage crypto wallets like ledgers or something like that?